Hey, it's FYF Sports. We back again with another podcast episode. Again, today is, as usual, it's always a special episode, man. It just seems like we keep getting blessed with opportunities to interview great people. So today is one of those days. But before we really get into the interview and we announce who we're speaking with, I'm gonna send it off to Steph, man. Steph, you gotta just go ahead and break down some of the sponsors that we got for the show, and just let us know, what can we expect from our future sponsors. What do you got for us?
Oh man, only if we had sponsors I could do that. But as I always say, we're gonna keep pushing, we're gonna keep grinding, and thank you guys for all your support. But we do have a great episode for you, so stay tuned.
All right, okay. So you guys, you heard it. No sponsors yet, but remember, man, we got we got a lot of open slots for sponsors. If you want to help sponsor the show, just hit us up on Instagram or Twitter. Let us know what you want to do or how you can help, and we'll be more than welcome to put your company logo or business logo right here on this wall, or you can get a link in the show. But today we got a special guest, man. He's been a head coach for over 19 years. He's not currently coaching now, but he's had a long coaching career, stemming from coaching at college basketball in Kansas. He coached there for around 12 to 13 years over at Crowley County College, I think. And then Wabash Valley in Illinois. So that's where he kind of started his coaching career. He also actually was selected as a U.S. national team coach, and he coached players like Carmelo Anthony and Chris Bosh, even Deron Williams on a U.S. national team. So he actually has experience coaching the U.S. national teams. And then most recently, he coached here at Grand Canyon University for 5 years as an assistant under Dan Marley. So again, we want to bring him into the show, Coach Mark Nelson, a great coach, man, a great person, and I think I just announced a lot of those accolades, but one of the most surprising things, Steph, and this is crazy, and Steph, me and you both know this is crazy, but I actually recently found out, man, that he's been married over 30 years. And when I saw that, I said I was surprised, for one, that I didn't even know he was that old. So he's aging gracefully in marriage. He has, I think he has 3 kids. If I'm not, he had 3 kids, and again, that's beautiful right there, man.
It is.
Especially as a coach, and you don't realize when you're coaching that long and to maintain a marriage and a family structure, and then not age. A lot of these coaches, get stressed out, start aging fast, man. So, man, that's probably the biggest accomplishment I've seen right there. But we gonna just let him talk for a little bit. Hey, Coach, just tell us a little bit about yourself and how you even got into coaching.
Well, Lamont, in Kansas, I'm a Kansas guy. So, in Kansas, we get married when we're about 12. So that's why all those things. No, but I've been really blessed. I grew up in a small town in Kansas, and actually was more known to be a football town. Pittsburgh State is still a powerhouse in Division II football, but very blessed to have a really good high school coach. And but my dad also coached, and I just got the bug of sports early. Growing up in the gym, played pretty much all sports, and just really gravitated towards basketball. And I had no idea, back when I was coming up, there was no AAU.
Oh, yeah.
So you went to basketball camps is how you got your exposure. And so we went to the camps that were closest to us. One was Arkansas. Eddie Sutton was the coach at Arkansas when I was growing up through basketball camps, and I went to Kansas State, their basketball camp, and was one in Salina, Kansas, that I went to. Just got some exposure and got a chance to play against different people, and so it was just a different time. But about my freshman, sophomore year in high school, I thought maybe I could try to college basketball. So that was my goal. I wanted to make the team, make the high school team.
Most definitely.
So, it just kind of snowballed from there. And like I said, I just had I played a lot of basketball. I grew up, a lot of time into it. And I was told, I always played point guard, and I was told at basketball camp, if you can dribble and handle the ball with both hands, and then the coach will find a spot for you. So, I took that to heart, and I was a good ball handler. And I just wanted to see how far it would take me. And like I said, I was very blessed. After high school, had a pretty successful career in high school and at Pittsburgh High, and then had a chance to go play junior college. My goal was to try to go play Division I, and so I went to a junior college in Kansas called Independence. The year before I went, they had finished second in the country, junior college, so they had a really good tradition. And so, again, had a good coach. We had really good teams. I played with Harvey Grant my sophomore year.
Oh, wow.
Harvey transferred in from Clemson, and so I played with Harvey, which made me a lot better point guard. When you play with a guy like Harvey Grant, I think one game he was 22 of 23 or something like that. It was actually on the road, but at Pratt Community College, and I had like 19 assists. So it wasn't real difficult. We had a clear out play that we threw to him.
Give it to me and get out the way, huh?
Yeah, and then I had the opportunity to go to Kansas State and play for Coach Kruger, and actually Dana Altman was my assistant coach at Kansas State, the Oregon coach. And so again, I was just really blessed to be around some really, really good coaches. And then I had a chance. I got married right after college, and had an opportunity to be an assistant coach in junior college at Butler County Community College. And we had a lot of success. We won the region in Kansas 3 out of 4 years. We went the national tournament back-to-back years, finished second in the country back-to-back years. So then I got an opportunity because of those people, really, and the success that we had. I got an opportunity to get hired on, like you said, at Cali Community College in Kansas at a really young age. I think I was, 26 or 27, was just newly married. Just had twins that were just 2, I think, when we went to Cali. And so, there's so much to say for the people who you surround yourself with. And I made a lot of decisions in who I played for, and this was by talking to my dad and my high school coach and so forth, and saying, okay, these are some of my goals. How do I pursue those goals? And the biggest thing that people told me was just surround yourself with the best people possible. I knew I wanted to coach, so going to Kansas State and being around Coach Kruger and Coach Altman, Greg Grenzing was another assistant coach. They were not only really good coaches, but they were great role models for me. And then, I just kind of parlayed that into my coaching career. And like you said, I've been married 30 years. I've got my twins are 29 years old. I'll be 31 here this month. 31 years of marriage here in weeks, and just been blessed. I really have. It was really a cool opportunity. I got out of coaching for 5 or 6 years, and we ran a training academy in Gilbert. That's what brought us to Arizona. I had an opportunity to go to GCU and coach there, and then I've gotten to administration. So it's really been a cool time for me, and it's really been a blessing to be at GCU and really be in the position I am with club sport.
Wow, man. Yeah, that's why it's just crazy, man. Like, you surprised I came all the way out here and never thought I would be able to meet coaches like this. And again, I had known Mark for almost a year and hadn't even known that he had coached at GCU or had done all of this. And so again, it's just, you never know who you can run into, but it's just crazy. But when you sit and talk with him about basketball, it definitely comes out. So that's why we're here, man. We kind of wanted to talk to you. We got a couple different topics that we wanted to hit on. Obviously, the first topic we want to talk about is just some of the crazy social issues going on, just kind of surrounding especially the NBA. How do you feel about some of the players? Like, I guess there's a divide with some of the players. Some of the players actually want to come back and play. Some of them feel that playing can actually help the situation and be a good distraction for everybody. What do you think? Guys, I know Adam Silver's in a tough situation because he has to make a lot of people happy. Like, how do you feel about this issue, and what do you think would be best for everybody?
Yeah, I think guys are in the positions obviously because they've worked very hard and used their talent to climb to a level. Like I said, I had a chance to play with Harvey Grant and Mitch Richmond and Steve Henson in college. So I've known guys who've gone through the opportunities to play pretty long time in the NBA and I just try to stay abreast with the situation, but hopefully they can use the platform to help Haynes. That's what I would hope for is if they decide to play this, when you're continuing using basketball as a vehicle, get your messages across. And like you said, there's a lot of varying degrees of opinions out there, even within the NBA. But I think we all would say there needs to be some changes. There needs to be change, and hopefully through all those pro sports. I know baseball's struggling to get back, and like you said, I think it's for all of us that are sports junkies, we'd sure like to see all those things happen. I also love to watch golf. I like watching pretty much every sport. There's not too many that I don't really understand hockey, and I don't really get NASCAR of mine. I don't really watch those two. But the rest of the sports, I pretty much watch all of them, and I love the challenge that each sport brings to, like golf, you're competing against people, but you're really competing against the environment, shots all the time. It's just so basketball is such a challenge, matchups and looking at how matchups play input and cool things that sports bring. So from a selfish standpoint, I'd sure like to see them come back and play. But I think by playing, it is an opportunity that they could use that vehicle, use a vehicle of sports, which I think that's what it should be. I think I always believe, I use basketball as a vehicle to get my education and get my degree. I had a chance to meet great people, at all levels that I've been in. So I think that's what it's for as a vehicle, and hopefully they can get back to playing and get back to some real, obviously the issues of it, but also just kind of the patterns of life.
And that's what we were actually, at least I kind of felt the same way. I really thought that guys playing would not just be a good distraction, but it also be another way to kind of put their own message out there with regards to what changes need to be made or what changes can be made. So I don't want to, and then you also take away a lot of financial resources from these players who could be putting money in their own community. So again, I don't, there's a lot that they can gain by playing, but I do respect the players who wish to kind of sit out. Because there's also more than just the social issues. We still have the health issues with COVID-19 that we have to be aware of too. So,
and then someone like myself, I'm more on of just scratching the whole season. I know there's a bigger fight, but at the same time, I definitely understand both parties. I mean, it's really up in the air. I mean, because I do understand what they're doing, and you have players. At the end of the day, the NBA is still a job. Those players still have to eat. They still have to support their loved ones. So I definitely understand them wanting to get back to the NBA, get back to playing, because just like me and Lamont talked about yesterday, everyone's not getting paid a LeBron salary. So so I definitely understand. So right now, Adam Silver, I mean, each time we do an interview, bring this up, I just, man, my hat goes off to him, because, I mean, that's a tough job. I don't know how he does it.
Well, the interesting part of it, and obviously the thing that we don't know with, it's baseball. They're talking about them not being on the same page, and it doesn't look like they have a chance. Okay, what does it look like not to have a season?
Yeah.
What does it look like just to eliminate a season and then try to jump into it, a year from now? So the same thing with basketball, the same thing with anything. When you start eliminating seasons and trying to getting back to, okay, what's that void look like? What does that void cause? And it's something we don't know. But there's so many, obviously, we sit here and talk about surface issues, so many, way deeper issues than all those things. And, I just want the best. I want the best for basketball. I want the best for all these guys, their families, for the people that they support. There's, like I said, there's so many working parts all this affects, and you just want to see the best. You know, that's always my prayer is I just want to see the best things happen.
Right.
That we can get back. And you know, when things like this are occurring in our world, I hope they're occurring for a purpose.
Right.
It's just not unrest, and we're out of, you know, a lot of people are out of work, and a lot of people have their lives on hold. You know, it's all worth it. If it, on the flip side, if something happens better.
Yeah.
Right. Definitely.
Right.
Definitely.
That's the whole purpose of it. And the same thing with this. And if they decide not to play, on the flip side, something happens better. Man, praise God. That's the best thing. Then if they need to, you know, have a condensed season in Orlando and kind of do that, seems really weird. And then just to have this condensed season play without fans, and they're all going to play in this, have X amount of teams. But hey, that's what kind of gets it going. And on the flip side, no, we just don't know what the future holds. And again, I know they're trying to balance all those things.
Yeah, and I know like one thing why I am, you know, wanting them to play as well, because I know one thing that brings us together as a people at some moments is sports, you know. So I mean, but it's everything's still up in the air. Just I don't know what I mean. I just hope and expect, you know, positivity overall. So I mean, all we can do is hope and pray.
It's amazing stuff. You know, I'm from Kansas. Well, I'm a big Royals. I grew up a Royals and a Chiefs fan. The last 5 years have been pretty good for Kansas City sports in Kansas and Missouri. It's kind of, you know, Kansas City is both Kansas and Missouri. Right. Kansas City, but like you said, it is amazing. The Royals winning, how much it brought that city, the states together. The Chiefs winning, how much it brings people together. You know, it's like you said, sports is a rallying cry around a common purpose. Man, we could sure use some of that in our country today. We could have this rallying cry about, you know, real stuff, really what it's about, and that's treating everybody. The Bible says, love God and treat people like you want to be treated, right? That's the golden rule. And if we could get back to that, and like you said, if somehow sports could be used for that, that would be a good thing.
Yeah. Life's too short.
That's a great point, man. That's a lot of great points, man. And again, like I said, we really wanted to touch on that topic because, again, that's probably the most important thing that's kind of going on right now. But we're going to transition into some more debatable topics. That's what we do here, FYF Debates, man. So we talk with a lot of guys. We like to debate with a lot of guys about basketball. And one of the craziest topics, or the most debatable topics, has been revolved around one player, and that's Draymond Green of the Warriors, Golden State Warriors. You know, so I don't want to kind of steer you one way or the other. I just kind of want you, you know, as a coach, especially with a coach with your coaching history, give me your perspective on either Draymond Green's value to the Warriors and just as a player in general, from college to the pros, or is he overrated, and is everything that he does, is it simply because he's surrounded by great players like Steph, Clay, Durant, and then as we saw this year, he had a big drop off, primarily because of injuries due to the superstar players. So what do you think, or how do you feel about Draymond Green?
Well, you know, it's a little bit of a, I don't know, loaded question. I guess my response would be this. I think obviously he's a really good player. He does a lot of things well. They talk about how good a defender he is, especially for his size. Obviously, he's a really good rebounder. He does some things that, you know, obviously he's been at all-star level. Here's what I believe with a ton of guys like Draymond Green, and I think he falls into this category, you know, higher level, but falls in this category, is just like me. Yeah, I'm a 5'11"-ish white guy that was I was a decent athlete. As I moved up levels, you know, I became more of an average athlete, especially at Kansas State. But if you plug me in around good players and allow me to do what I do, allow me to play within my strengths, all of a sudden, this maybe a little bit better average than average player, all of a sudden, I look like I'm pretty good.
Yeah.
No, and I think it's the same thing with guys like Draymond. For sure, you stick him on, let's say you stick him on, I don't know, the Timberwolves or somebody that, somebody that's not great, and say, okay, he's going to be your best player, he's going to be your go-to, you're going to run everything through him, he's going to have to score 25 or 30 points a game, blah, blah, blah. I don't know that he's that guy.
Right.
Say, you're going to have guys like Steph and Clay and so forth around him and plug him in and let him do what he does. He's maybe the best of that. He does what he does, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then he can score in spurts. He can go a game where he has 11 rebounds and 8 or 9 assists, and does that stuff and not score. You think, what a great game Draymond had. But if you stick him on a team that he has to score, he's not that guy. So I just think he's one of those guys that he's a great complimentary guy, but he needs other good players around him to be the best player that he can be, which, again, I think there's a lot of dudes like that. I think he was very fortunate. I think he could have been overlooked on a different team. He got to do that early on in his career at Golden State. Then he got, kind of elevated into a more of an elite status. And I think there's probably guys like him that didn't get that opportunity. And if they would have, they could have been like him.
Yeah.
That's just my take.
Yeah, most definitely.
And then the other question, especially around Draymond Green, was, given what he does now, just his skill set now as is, do you think he would fit into the 90s basketball style of play, or even the 80s?
Well, when you think of that style, it's kind of what I grew up watching, and he's very physical. And one thing he is a physical guy, so I think he could, kind of endure that. The physicality of the game back then. He probably would have maybe even fit in pretty well with that. The thing is, he's skilled in different ways. He's not super skilled. Like I said, scoring. It's not just okay, he's a great scorer. He's not that guy. But man, he handles the ball well. Yeah. He's like a Rodman type guy as far as rebounding. Knows where the ball's going to go. He's got a great instinct and a great nose for the ball. So there's intangibles about him that definitely make him, more of an elite guy that I think would translate back to the 80s and 90s, that he'd be probably pretty good.
Okay. I know my thing was that we need more players like Draymond. He knows his role, he plays his role, and he perfects his role. You have other players that, one day I'm gonna, just shoot threes, but I'm not a shooter. One day I'm going to take my man one-on-one, and that's not what we do. He goes to his coach, what's my role? That's my role, I'm going to perfect it, and you need more players like that. Players that do that.
Coaching in junior college, I really try to tell guys that, if you can be really good at rebounding, you'll get recruited at a high level. If you'll go out and average, 10 or 11 and just really focus, and plus it's crazy, if you'll be a really good rebounder, let's say just rebound and run the floor.
Right.
You're only going to average close to 10 points a game. So all of a sudden, here you are in junior college, and you're averaging a double-double. Guess what? You're going to get recruited to Division I. Most guys didn't want to hear that.
Yep.
I just want to score. I get all that. I'll get the ones, because it takes effort, right? It takes effort to be a great defender. Tony Allen, when he played for me in junior college, he was.
Oh, Tony Allen? Tony Allen played? Yeah. Oh, wow.
You didn't hear? Oh, you didn't? Yeah.
Oh.
Tony Allen played for me in junior college. So Tony played at Butler Community College, and then when I took the Wabash Valley job, Tony's from Chicago.
Right.
So Tony transferred out and played for me 1 year. And I had a lot of calls about him because he was freshman of the year in junior college in Kansas. He was a good player, but I don't think he was recruited to the level that he was, because he wasn't a great shooter scorer. Still was in the NBA. People started calling me about him because we had a guy named Antoine Barber, who Antoine played at Kentucky. He played, as a matter of fact, he made the USA under-19s team while he was in junior college, which I think he was the only JUCO guy to do at that time. But we had, I think 27 or 28 NBA teams coming in to watch him play. He was going to get, Portland really liked him. They're going to draft him in the first round, and kind of saying we're going to take him late in the first round. Antoine ended up going to Kentucky and hurt himself. But the crazy thing about it, all these guys that come in saw Tony. They're like, who in the world is this guy? And I told them he is the best defender I've ever coached. His lateral movement is unlike anybody I've ever coached, or really anybody I've ever seen. Now, Tony could jump too. He was very athletic. But what separated him, and guess what? What did he hang his hat on in the NBA? He didn't say, well, I'm going to go to the league after being at Oklahoma State. I'm going to go to the league and average 25 a game. Right. It wasn't him. He played in the league for like 13 years by what? Being the best defensive player. Yeah. You know, one of the best defensive players in the NBA. So you really want to get guys to lean in on that stuff and be a great rebounder, be a great defender. Like you said, Duff, if more guys would say, you know, I can do those things, man. That's just effort. Yeah. It's playing and effort and mentality. And maybe I'm not gifted. I wasn't a gifted scorer. Not even in high school. I was more of a playmaker and so forth. Like I said, man, I rode that all the way to have a chance to play. You know, I played in 40-some games at Kansas State as a white kid, average guy, you know. And so, you know, you can really, if you can get guys to believe in that.
Yeah, definitely.
Like that's important, because it is important to coaches, because guess what? That's what wins games. Yeah,
that's funny, because I just recently saw a podcast where Tony Allen was just talking about that. And I'm glad you brought that up as well, because I know a lot of young kids that's wondering, like, how to get recruited, what do you look for? So if you don't mind, just going over, what do you look for when you're doing your scouting in your player? So what are you looking for in your player? Besides like the all around just talented players. Of course, we have those, but we have some players that only does a certain thing. So what are some of the things you look for?
Yeah, it was interesting stuff, and going to watch practice is obviously different than going to watch a game. And usually, when I was recruiting, like say for DCU, Lamont said, I coached with Coach Marley for a year. I coached with Russ Pennell, the guy that was before Coach Marley for 4. And so you want to get to know the head coach. Okay, what do these guys want? What fits them? Obviously, you're looking to play for a position, but what fits them? And I always tell guys, I've had an opportunity to go around and speak at basketball camps and speak at some recruiting type things. And I told them, when I coached or was recruiting, I would show up early and I would track that guy. I would watch him, whether it was practice or whether it was in a game. I would watch them, from the minute they walked down gym, and how early did they get out there to shoot? What's their attitude like? They just lollygagging around, or are they working hard? Are they getting prepared for the game? Can you see it? How are they interacting with their teammates? How are they interacting with the coach? If they have not such a good game, sometimes that's what let's see them score 40 points and everything's going great. Well, gosh, anybody can be good for that. How did they react when they were going through and missing 3 or 4 shots in a row? They're hanging their head. Were they sulking around? Were they pouting when they come out? All those type things really played into, what you're looking for. And I always really, what's your skill level like? And so, I don't think guys look at, body language sometimes, or, all those things that you can do well. That it's not really even basketball related. And I had some of the NBA guys that came in to watch Antoine would tell me the same thing. They recorded every shot. When they came to the gym and he walked in, they recorded every shot that he shot that day. Not when we scrimmaged. They recorded every shot. When he walked in the gym, got his stuff on, went to a goal. They said they watched his footwork, they watched, just his mechanics. They just watched every part of it. And so, all that stuff's important. You're always, as a especially as a younger player, but all the time. You're always building habits, and you're always creating, and trying to create the best habits possible. And that's your attitude, your effort, those things also. I thought I worked hard in high school until I got in junior college, and I thought I worked hard in junior college until I played at K-State. And so, you're always increasing those levels and getting out of your comfort zone in each level, is a key to that.
Wow, that's like I said, that's great insight right there. Especially these young guys nowadays who, again, they think scoring is the end all be all. And even my high school coach told me, he said, if you want to get recruited, he said, just get great at one thing. And it's probably not scoring that you need to get great at. Just find defense, whether it's being a 3-point specialist. Well, I mean, again, get great at one thing if you really want to get to that D1 level. And then once you get there, maybe then you can try to develop and add in those other attributes to get you looked at for the pro level. But
and I want to give my brother a little bit of flowers as well while we talking Lamont. So we played a lot of leagues, whether that's out here in Arizona or back in Lafayette. But I always said he, for some reason, always picked the best teams. They might not have the most talent, but they play their roles. So we recently, we moved out to Arizona. We picked up a team, random guys. I guess he knew them at the time or something, but we all played our role. Of course, I can do more, but a lot of people know me as a shooter. So all I do is spot up and shoot. We have somebody that drives the lane. We have somebody that brings the ball up the court. But everybody played their role, and there were bigger teams. I'm talking about you have 6'8", 6'5", things of that nature. We're all, the tallest was probably 6'2".
It was Johnny. Johnny Hill, Mark.
Yeah.
Johnny was our tallest player.
Okay.
Yeah. So, but that just goes to show you just playing your role and understanding your role. I mean, it can take you far.
Yeah.
That's just something for the young kids.
Yeah, I was really blessed to be around guys like I said, I played with Harvey Grant and Mitch Richmond, and the thing that people don't understand in playing with those two in particular, we're the hardest working guys on our team. We had success on our team. When I was at K-State, we went to an Elite Eight, had a chance to play for a Final Four, and same thing at Independence when I played it with Harvey. But man, those guys worked at their craft.
Yeah.
They really did. They worked at their skill sets. Didn't rest on, Harvey was, 6'10" or whatever, and Mitch was 6'5", 6'6", and was just a big guy with guard skills that could play inside and out. Those guys, great attitudes, they worked hard, and it just for a guy like me, it was a great example to see, and that's what I always told people moving forward when I coach is when our best players are our hardest workers, we're going to be pretty good because guess what? Everybody else has to follow suit.
Right.
So, like you said, it's a constant process of trying to get better, picking out something you feel like you're pretty good at anyway, really trying to accentuate that skill level, and then continue to work on your skill set. It's going to make you a better player.
That's what's up, man. Hey, like I said, this is a lot of great information you gave us, man. Again, I hope that anybody listening, especially if you're a younger player, even if you're an older player, a lot of this stuff is just advice you can just use to get your own game better. And I know we just did a video with a NBA skills trainer where we interviewed him. So a lot of the things that you're saying about basketball, he's saying as well, and he's an NBA skills trainer. So again, this is a guy you should listen to, especially if you're trying to play at a higher level. I mean, he's been there, he's coached at that level. So again, it's a lot of information you can take in just by listening to this short interview. But we got to wrap it up, unfortunately. Like I said, it was great to have you on the show, man. Again, we learned just a little bit just listening to you now, and there's a lot that I didn't know about you. As far as you coaching players like Tony Allen, I didn't know that. So again, that just goes to show that great players can come out of anywhere. So guys that are always just looking for the next D1 offer, is sometimes it's not always through D1, or you can make it through other avenues as well. It's just not the popular way to go. So again, Coach, you got any last things you want to say before we get out?
I just wanted to say thanks to you guys. It's really important. I know for me, I'm getting to be. I turned 54 here in about a month, and I've probably done coaching in administration stuff, and my goal is continually to empower people and try to inspire and empower people. And that's what you guys are doing. And I continue to encourage you guys to keep on this thing and keep on putting out positive vibes to people and using your sphere of influence, because it's, I think it'll continue to grow. I heard you say something about sponsorships. Hopefully you guys can, get something really big and continue to put this out, because this is good stuff. And younger guys and, everybody needs to hear of this type of stuff. And you guys keep doing your thing. I'm blessed to be a part of this podcast today, but man, I want to encourage you guys to keep rolling along.
No, we definitely will. We're gonna keep it going. Again, like I said, we appreciate you, especially people like you, just taking the time out of your day to come join us. So again, we really appreciate you joining the FYF Sports podcast today. But we're gonna go ahead and wrap this up, Steph, man. Again, another great show. FYF Fred here kind of messed up the feed, and he kind of messed up but FYF Fred, we gonna give him a pass because he snapped on us yesterday, so we're not gonna go too crazy. But again, hey y'all, we want to appreciate the viewers, followers on social media and Twitter. Again, the subscriber count is going up. I think we're a little over 2,500 now subscribers on YouTube. So we see you on our social media, Instagram, on Twitter, also following as well. So we love that support. And again, if you have any questions, make sure that you reach out to us in our DMs. We'll definitely answer your questions on the next video, or we can give you a mention. So again, Steph, you got anything else before we get up out of here?
First of all, I want to thank Coach Nelson for the interview. And I encourage everybody to comment, please. Go ahead and like, subscribe, comment. Don't forget to hit that notification bell, and don't forget about our Facebook link. Go ahead, take it away, bro.
Oh, see, FYF Fred, he forgot. Nah, it's we got a Facebook group, you guys. NBA, it's called NBA GOAT Talk. NBA GOAT Talk. Again, when we get to 500 members in that group, we're going to start having live debates. Those debates are going to be live on Facebook and YouTube, so you want to be a part of that if you want to take part in those debates. So it's NBA GOAT Talk on Facebook. And just like Steph said, like, comment, subscribe, hit the notification bell so you can be aware of all future videos and information and content that we have coming out. But other than that, man, it's just FYF Sports, and it's been a good one here. We out.